Hi guys! This is a not so long-term review of the Husqvarna Svartpilen 401. As a disclaimer, this is my personal opinion and is purely based on my personal experience on riding and owning the Svart 401 for around 3 months and running at around 3,400 kilometers already. And for context, I got this bike for both as a daily commuter and for occasional out of towns with my wife. This is my first manual, expressway legal, 400cc category bike. I'll be starting off with the list of 9 things that I dislike or I hate about my 401. And of course, this should be eventually be followed by a list of things that I like or love on the next video upload. Number 1 on the features list is the seat height versus the ground clearance of the 401. The 401 has a tall seat height, and given that I am already vertically challenged, it took me around 2 to 3 weeks to be comfortable on riding it on both city and highway traffic. You can click on the link above on how I get on and off the bike for reference. Given the tall seat height, how come that the 401 only has this ground clearance? Well, compared to its brother, the Svartpilen, which is more of a road/sports bike, I can let go of the ground clearance issue. But with the Svartpilen, which is going for the scrambler look, this is not good. Another comparison is the 2020 version of the 401 and its cousin, the KTM Duke. Well, except the RC. Since it has a bigger ground clearance compared to the latest versions. I understand that only the 2021 model was released here in the Philippines. But why did Husqvarna, and KTM for that matter which owns them, relocated the header pipes from the middle to the bottom of the bike? The KTM RC, on the other hand, still has the pipe headers in the middle for both previous and new versions. It does not make sense. Number 2 on the features list are the stock side mirrors. Well, it's not ugly, but could have been better.
But it can be better.
I'm seeing online that they are offering an OEM side mirror. So why not put this on stock in the first place?
Money.
I would not mind if the dealership will be charging me for another 2 to 3,000 pesos for a better looking side mirror. Diba? Also, I have already changed the side mirror to bar end, but was uncomfortable driving with it. Tiis pogi eh. Eventually changed back to stock mirrors after a couple of weeks. Number 3 on this list is the 401's fuel tank capacity, which is only at 9.5 liters.
What?
I understand that gas consumption and overall bike design was considered, but comparing to the Duke 390, which has 13.5 liters, the 401's tank capacity can be improved and can be better. Well, it has the same tank capacity with the KTM RC 390, but again, still could be better.
But it can be better.
Another thing is having to find a gasoline station during long rides is a bit of a hassle, especially when I am riding with fellow 400cc riders with bigger tank capacity. Hassle eh. Number 5 and last on the features list is the 401's name and model of the bike. Well, this is subjective, but I think Husqvarna can still come up with a better model name other than Svartpilen or Svartpilen. And it's quite a challenge to mention the bike model since the bike is quite a looker to people asking what bike am I riding. Parang ang sagot ko na lang ay lagi, KTM din to, parang KTM Duke pero Svart 401 siya. Okay. First on the riding experience list is number 1, the vibration. Given that this is a single-cylinder bike, well, I expected vibration while riding, of course. But not to the point where my hands become numb for around only 30 minutes of chill, no death grip riding.
Daddy, chill.
What the?
But it felt much better after the first PMS, or the first maintenance, around 1,000 to 1,500 kilometers. It has less vibration and I can already ride for an hour without numbing my hands due to the vibration. Number 2 is finding neutral on the 401. It took me 2 weeks before I can gently find the neutral on the 401. Compared to the bikes I have ridden before, neutral on the 401 is very hard to find. Though I'm not sure what is the reason for this, but I think this is to avoid misshifts and accidental neutral while on high speeds. Comment down below if what is the correct justification for that one. Number 3 is the throttle or the ride-by-wire, the 401. Yes, it is very responsive compared to wired throttles, but the downside is it needs more and proper control to be smooth. Since it is also my first time owning a manual motorcycle, it took me around 1 to 2 weeks before having the hang of it. Last on this list is the rev matching of the 401, since it is jerky compared to other motorcycles. I know this is not a necessary skill on motorcycle riding, but it is fun to do. And compared to other bikes that I have ridden, the 401 is a little unforgiving on rev matching and blipping the throttle.
What?
But still, it can be learned and it can be mastered. Just be mindful on the RPM range of the 401, and the rev matching will be such a joy to do. So that's it for the list of things that I dislike or hate about the Svartpilen 401. Can I recommend this as a beginner bike? For me, no. If you have zero experience in motorcycle riding, especially here in the Philippines where kamote and squid riders are everywhere. But if you are in love with the 401 like I do, go ahead and get it. Riding and mastering it will take a lot more practice and learning over time compared to other and easier bikes, and eventually, you'll master the 401 instead of it overwhelming you. Thank you again for watching this, and if you have enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more. Ride safe and wag kamote sa kalsada. Babush!